the chat or leave us a note there and let us know why Just Johnny's huffing glue.
Oh, and it's
Now,
also available on PS4 and Xbox One.
On PS4 and Xbox One. All right, cool. Thank you, John. All right, now I want to close out with, dude, I got to check out an advanced screening of this new movie starring Charlize Theron called Atomic Blonde. It's actually a movie set in, I say actually, I'm not, actually, ain't nobody wrong here. But it's a movie set in the 1980s around the end of the Cold War. I'll give a quick synopsis here. Atomic Blonde is a 2017 American action spy thriller film starring Charlize Theron, directed by David Leitch, and written by Kurt Johnson. This was actually the interesting thing I found out, because I'm usually up on comics that come out, and I'd never heard of this one. It's based on a 2012 graphic novel called The Coldest City, which revolves around spies trying to find this list of double agents that's been collected by MI6. So it's kind of a cool story. It's pretty much she's connected with a contact in England, this dude named David Percival, to one, investigate the death of an agent that was stationed there, and to connect with this dude, find this list, and possibly, hopefully, save the lives of other agents. Now, the story of this one gets interesting, then gets pretty complicated, and at times it's kind of murky in itself, because it really goes out of its way to show, nah, man, she's a badass agent. She's in this world of like weird stuff. It's the 80s, so they're force feeding a soundtrack at you. Like, this thing is designed as so many songs, dude. She walks into this club and they play like 3-4 songs as the thing plays out. She leaves the club, she goes to a bar, they're playing 4 or 5 more songs there while she meets a contact, and then she meets someone who's been following her, and then she meets someone who seems like he may be another major part of the story, and it turns out this is just a curveball they're throwing you to kind of throw you off the scent of where the story is really going. And I get it that it's a spy thriller, so it's supposed to be a little head turning, you know. You're supposed to be like, whoa, wait a minute, this happened, but I thought this happened, connecting clues and connecting dots, but then it just keeps hitting you with more and more, and I'm just like, okay, at some point, yeah, no, I get it. It's spy stuff. It's supposed to be confusing and, you know, a convoluted story that comes out, a complex story that, you know, comes out to an interesting end, and instead it just kind of kept throwing things at you again and again and again, and not red herrings per se, because not things meant to throw you off the scent of the story, just stuff that's meant to, I guess, fill atmosphere that gets really heavy-handed, you know, after a while. I get it. They're in the 80s. You don't have to show me random fluorescence here and there. It looks like the club scene in Total Recall threw up on some film, you know? That's what this was here. It's like they're going really out of their way. Exactly. Even Goofy agrees with me. No, that's my phone. I forgot to turn off because I'm a sucker. But okay, and don't get me wrong. That seems like I'm going to a negative place. I actually liked this movie. I really did, because the action was hardcore. Charlize Theron gives a solid performance, you know, and I really appreciated that, even though she's the main focus of this, and it's the story about a badass, you know, spy, that it shows also, yeah, you know, she's got all the moves, and, you know, she handles business in these fight scenes, but also she gets roughed up. Like, there's like fight scenes where she's taking out like, you know, 19 different guys. They come at it one-on-one, you know, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and she's fighting them, and, you know, there's guns going off here and there, and she's disarming people and, you know, taking out these folks here and fighting knives and all this stuff. And then there'll be another scene where, yeah, and right after that, she has to spend the night in a bathtub full of ice because she got roughed up. It's like after the fight scene, she walks off all badass, and then when she takes off the clothes, you see bruises here. You see she got shot at one point, and she's actually reacting to it. You know, she finishes the fight scene trying to, you know, favoring that one side because there's a bullet there, you know, and she's still, you know, showing like it looked like there was actual training here that she employed to dispatch enemies. I'm like, I appreciate that, because James Bond is automatically invincible for no reason. Sure. You know, this was someone who was well trained but still susceptible, not invincible, still susceptible to damage, to long lasting effects. You know, she lost a what do you call it? She's supposed to be the handler of someone, and she lost her charge. She lost someone she's supposed to protect, and you see her react to that emotionally. You know, so she's not some cold super spy. And here's one thing that I guess disappointed me, that's what it looks like in the trailer. I can understand you want to get butts in the seats. It's supposed to look like this impossible badass figure, and they paint that in the trailers. The trailers show her as cold. Everyone's in love with her. Men love her. Women want to be her. This wasn't that. This was far more of a human performance. And when she had to be it, yes, she was that stone cold bitch. She was that a hardcore, very impressive fighter, very impressive, super spy with collecting intel, with meeting people and having that imposing figure that she presents. I'm like, that part was awesome. And then you got to see her react. She falls in love with another fledgling spy, and that relationship. This was played by, I got the list up here real quick. It's actually not in the top list, so I have to delve a little deeper. She was the actress that played the Mummy in the new Mummy with Tom Cruise. If you guys have seen that, very different take. And if you've seen Kingsman, she was the Gazelle, the assassin with the blades for feet.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's another one you should definitely see. That was awesome, and she gave a good performance. James McAvoy, Professor X himself, played a very interesting role in this. He was David Percival, the charge that you went to see. And the trailers paint him as kind of a goofy, second banana figure. He's there for comic relief. He's going to be the Robin to her Batman, or maybe the Jimmy Olsen to her Superman. He's there to just be impressed by everything she does, and that's not the character he played in the movie. The character he played in the movie was deeper than that, was a little darker than that, and I was very impressed. I think this is a good movie that's just being sold the wrong way. And it's a complex story. It has its problems. Don't get me wrong. But at the crux of it, this is something I would definitely recommend people pay to see. If you're into spy movies, this is a good spy movie. If you're disenfranchised, if you're tired of, if you're just jaded by movies that present anyone who's ever worked in espionage being invincible, being having no faults and feeling no emotion, just being like all about the job and nothing else, this was not that. This one presented I won't say far more human. It did have elements of, no, when she's needed to be a badass, she's Arnold Schwarzenegger with boobs, And
sounds interesting, man.
Oh, this was very surprising. I'm happy they had an advanced screening so far in advance of the movie, so I could, one, see it and talk about it, and two, it will have enough time to build up the press that it needs. I think the reputation for being the good movie that it is.
So it sounds like the problem is it falls short of hitting something along the lines of what Uma Thurman did in Kill Bill.
Well, Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, that one thing was rank with Quentin Tarantino. Oh, very much like Michael Bay. Quentin Tarantino isms. A lot of that movie was trying to force really cool dialogue, really stylized scenes that were all homages to different films, and kind of losing its own uniqueness as a film, as a story.
Well, I'm saying with the character specifically.
Oh, like how she presented a badass with emotion?
The Bride, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely got that from Charlize Theron in this movie.
Oh, okay.
I like Charlize Theron as an actress. This is definitely a high point in her catalog.
Oh, all right.
Also, the look they gave her, I got a lot of Debbie Harry from it. And I guess that really ties into the 80s-ness of it. It's set in the 80s, and they want you to know that. They beat that over your head constantly. It even starts off with there's a Walkman playing. I hit this. There's a whole scene. You can see me putting the tape in and hitting play, and then it goes into the tracks. And when they have an interrogation scene, there's a whole reel-to-reel that they hit there, and all the equipment's big and squared off and very 80s. Everything was very 80s to the point where even she looked like Blondie. It was that 80s, they forced that look, but I liked it.
80s ain't 80s until you have that static sound playing in the background.
You need that static sound. You need the static sound. You need some fluorescence and day glow.
Yeah.
I also noticed and have to call out John Goodman. He wasn't really in the credits. He wasn't really in the trailers much, but he gave a quick but good performance. I think this makes up for that, I guess, that wasting of John Goodman in Kong. No, well, that's a different kind of wasting. The movie The Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron, it'll be out in theaters very soon. I would recommend anyone see it. If you're into spy movies, you'll appreciate this one, and you may even dig it. If not, it's just a good night out of the flicks, man. It's not Shakespeare, but it's a good time, and it throws you when you get past the overabundance of twists and turns, the ones that matter to the story are actually pretty cool. Yep. So Atomic Blonde, thumbs up. If you have anything to say on that, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com, or you know what, on the social medias. Find us on Twitter, on Facebook, and let us know your thoughts. Or if you're watching on twitch.tv/thegeekdown, hit us up in the chat. Let us know what you think. If you're not, shame on you. You should be. We're live every Monday night, 9 p.m. But dude, that's it for the show, man.
Yeah, man. It's been